let's see here. How are we doing today? That camera is way too gosh darn low. Hey, there we go. All right. How are we doing, everybody? How are we doing? I got a new glass to be able to use on the podcast. I got my national championship Indiana Hoosier Cup now, filled with the Drink of Champions milk. And tell you what, still kind of living on that high a little bit. Not going to lie. Still kind of living on that high a little bit. It was an outstanding season. All the years of being an Indiana Hoosier fan coming through in one day. You know, we get, everybody teases us. You guys finally have a big year. Yeah, we'll get used to it. Because Indiana is not going to be the last one that finally has a big year. And it was a huge year. It was absolutely huge. And we've had a couple different things happen since the last time I was live. And I apologize. Reality is, guys, the weather just kills me at this point in time. It is the up and down, the freezing cold. We had the snow that came through, the big snow. It made it really rough. And I just wanted to get back to a point where I was able to do this and have fun doing it, because I wasn't getting home until now some mornings, and I wasn't really sleeping that well, and adding in doing, a podcast for 45 minutes, an hour, just, it didn't fit. It just didn't fit at that time for what I needed to do. But, I ain't done. I love doing this too much. I just need to make sure that everything was set, that everything was okay. And we're rolling now. We are back and we are rolling. And I have got a huge conniption to go over today. Yes, I am hot about something. So over the All-Star break, Adam Silver came out with, the idea of taking away draft picks for tanking. Now, everybody screamed no against this, and rightfully so. However, may I point out, it's your own dang fault. Each one of you teams that are tanking and then not actually getting any better because you're owned horribly, the NBA has 30 teams. The problem is a third of them are actually trying to lose. See, in the NFL, it used to be, so let's go back to the 16-game schedule just for this example. In a 16-game season, if you were trying to build a team, let's say the team had gone 2-14 the previous year, or 3-13, your stepping stones would be getting to a point of 6-10. That would be the first stepping stone. You wouldn't be winning a ton of games, but you would win enough and it would matter enough, and nobody thought you were trying to lose because you weren't. You just weren't at that next level. The effort is on the field. The talent didn't equate across every matchup, but you won enough games, you showed improvement, and now you're going to go into the next year, hopefully even stronger. That next year, year number 3, you were thinking, if we can get to 8-8, 500, that is the next step. We'll be kind of tinkering. We'll be cheating with a playoff spot potentially will be sitting right there. Our logo will be sitting in the playoff picture, hopefully until at that time week 16, week 17. Now, the NBA. This is embarrassing. Like, this is I don't even know how to put this. You have the Memphis Grizzlies, who haven't really done anything. They couldn't get any trade partners for Ja Morant. That's why Ja is still sitting a Memphis Grizzly. You have the Utah Jazz, who just shut down the forward they traded for, Jaren Jackson, and may shut down another player here shortly. You have the Pelicans, who, I don't know. I don't know. They're just bad. They're just bad. We're just going to put it that way. They're just bad. And then you got the Kings, who purposely shut down Zach LaVine and Domantas Sabonis for the rest of the year, because right now, if the season ended today, they would be the number one spot in the lottery. So, then you go to the Eastern Conference. The Indiana Pacers are benching players to be able to lose games. They came out of the All-Star break with 2 games against the Washington Wizards. 2 games against the Washington Wizards. They lost both of them. The second game is highly suspect in how they lost. It is a purposeful rollover so that the Wizards would be above them in the standings. I hate tanking as a whole, but I do not hate purposeful one-year rebuilding. The Washington Wizards have Trae Young and Anthony Davis. Yes. Those are 2 players the Wizards have. And everybody else on that team is a rookie or a second-year player, and they're pretty good. Getting another high draft pick isn't going to hurt them at all. So right now, they made moves for next year. I've talked about this. They made moves for next year. That is a purposeful rebuild for next season. Now, they're not trying to lose games, though. They're not purposely trying to lose games. They beat the Pacers both games. It would have been better for them to lose both those games to the Indiana Pacers. They beat them. The Indiana Pacers, however, rolled over like a dog. And it was embarrassing as a fan. Now, between the Pacers and Wizards right now, there's a team in the middle called the Brooklyn Nets. They just suck. They actually just don't have the talent acquisition right now. They have good players, but their number of good players is like 4. And you need about 7. Because you got to have a couple bench players that are pretty good too. And right now they're just really young. They are out experienced everywhere. They're not great at making their own shot opportunities. They only average 107 points a game. So the reality with all this is the Nets are legitimately bad. The Pacers are not and may shut down Zubac for the rest of the year for an injury that he didn't have in Los Angeles. And the NBA would have every right to dive into this injury because Zubac played 15 of the 16 games prior to being traded to the Pacers. That final game that the Clippers sat him was the game when they were talking about trading him to teams. Just like the Heat did when they were trying to make the package for Giannis. Just like a bunch of other teams did. But then he gets traded, and all of a sudden he's got this horrible injury that's going to keep him potentially out for the rest of the year. Bullcrap. I'm calling bull. Because they're trying to set themselves up for next year. Because Zubac would help them win. They have had horrible center play all season. I called it when Turner didn't come back. I said unless they get a decent center, this is not going to work, and they have been bullied on the offensive boards, bullied on the defensive boards, and they've just been flat out bullied, and they're not good enough. But with Zubac, Siakam, Nesmith, they could do something. And what a great, a huge game. A huge thing is Benedict Mathurin is now out in Los Angeles on the Clippers and has had his three games. He's come out and absolutely torn it up, has been on fire because he's being allowed to play freely, without restriction, and without a team that's trying to lose. It's embarrassing. Utterly embarrassing. I hate it. You can use 1 year to rebuild and you're right back up. 1 year to rebuild and you're right back up. The Pacers better be right back up next year. I know everybody's like, well, yeah, you'll get Tyrese back. Everything will be good. Tyrese is not the reason that this team had success last year. He was off for more games than he was on. In the playoffs, he hit some big shots. But the rest of the team carried him a lot of that time because he wasn't his best 70% of the games. I believe the Pacers would have won Game 7 if Halliburton didn't get hurt because that was a game Halliburton was actually on. He decided he was going to show up for Game 7, and I give him credit for that, but he decided he was going to show up for Game 7. And then pop. So, the last team that we're going to talk about with the whole tanking thing is the Bucks. The Bucks didn't end up trading Giannis, and now they're in an argument with Giannis about whether or not he's going to play. You heard me. Giannis wants to play basketball, and the Bucks don't want him to, so they can keep dropping down and get a better pick. I don't know who below them, though, is going to jump them. I honestly think the teams that are currently in the top 10 in the Eastern Conference are going to be those teams. The Charlotte Hornets are now sitting at 10th. Hawks are 9. The Heat are 8. The Magic are 7. Sixers are 6. Raptors are 5th. Cavs are 4th. Knicks are number 3. The Celtics are number 2. And the Pistons are number 1. I think those 10 teams will be the 10 teams. Now, where they fall, no clue yet. We're not even in March. No clue yet. But I do believe those will be the 10 teams. And the problem is, I kind of believe that in the Western Conference as well. Right now, Clippers are 10. Blazers are 9. Warriors are 8. Suns are 7. Timberwolves are 6. Lakers 5. Rockets 4. Nuggets 3. The Spurs are now only 3 games back of the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are number 1. So unfortunately, I think as far as the teams are concerned, that's going to be it right there. I don't see it happening any other way. which means the reality is it's going to be a very sad finish to the end of the season, and that's why it gets hard to talk about basketball until the playoffs. Because even the really good games like last night, the Celtics destroyed the Lakers 111-89. It never should have been that way. Some of these games, Toronto beat Milwaukee 122-94. Like, what are we doing? I don't get it. I don't get it. I really don't. And it makes absolutely no sense to me at all. All right. So that is my tanking rant for the morning because, yeah. I have been very upset with how some of these teams have played this out. It's a bad look on basketball. It's disrespectful to the fans that are paying money. Did you guys see the article yesterday about the Lakers hiking the prices for the Laker games? And what they did, like, it's a 14% price hike. And what they did is they said, we're using this time to better align with the standard. Okay, no. You have full attendance right now. Your team has Luka, but your team hasn't done anything for a while. Now, in my mind, you have success before you get that ability to raise the ticket prices. Or the Lakers start losing attendance. And most people are like, the Lakers will never lose attendance. Do you realize that they have a 99% seat rating right now? 99% of their seats are filled per game. What if that drops to 95? See, when you're way, way, way up here, it's a lot easier to just slightly fall back. So you're going to charge more, but are you actually going to make more? There are season ticket holders that are putting it out here, and they're going, should we re-up? That's an interesting question from Laker fans. And these Lakers season ticket holders are ratting them out. They're the ones telling everybody. Because they're like, no. Now, remember, the same group that owns the Dodgers now owns the Lakers. What do the Dodgers have that the Lakers don't? That would be a guy named Shohei Ohtani. That would be something called World Series or World Championships. That's what the Lakers don't have. Because anybody with two eyes remembers COVID year and how COVID year was a complete fake. I will never, ever count. I don't count anything in COVID year. It may go into the books. I understand that. I don't count anything in the COVID year. Nothing. There were no fans. There was no pressure. There was no changing of lifestyle. It was completely fake. Completely fake. It wasn't legitimate. Yeah, in a record book, they won. Yeah, whatever. Don't forget, if the season would have kept going, the Lakers probably would have missed the playoffs because both Davis and James were hurt, and they used that 6-week time off frame to be able to get healthy. Without that 6 weeks off, the Lakers don't have both of their stars. So don't tell me that they would have won anyway. they wouldn't have had anybody to play. So stop. The COVID year just doesn't count. That's how bad it was. And now we've got this. The tanking the way that it is. And it absolutely sucks. It just absolutely sucks. All right. So we have got NFL free agency that's right around the corner. March 11th. March 11th. At the 4 p.m. time frame is when free agency officially starts. On March 9th, the tampering period begins. Now, and we already have some things for next year. September 10th, excuse me. September 10th will be the kickoff game. September 10th. January 10th will be the final regular season game. October, November, December, January. 4 months. Okay? The playoffs will begin January 16th, and next year's Super Bowl will be on February 14th. So we got some things to go over. I got some information for you that I believe you need. So let's go. Here we go. Lost my notes. There it is. There we go. All right. So taking a look here, what we're going to do is we're going to look at some of the, just like last year when we did the snapshots. We're not going to do the snapshots this year. We're not. Instead, since we're live and these are not recorded, we are going to do them right here. And we're going to do 2 a day. I believe I played it out. 1, 2. We're going to have to do, 3 a day. 3 a day to get them done. This will give the podcast a little bit more meat for this time frame. So we're going to do 3 a day. 3 teams a day. We're going to keep track of which teams we do. Blah, 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 blah. We're going to run down their salary cap, their draft picks, and their potential free agents that they have. And I started thinking, well, where do we want to start? Let's start with the teams that got new head coaches. So today we're going to begin with the Arizona Cardinals and their new head coach, Mike LaFleur. I will have the thumbnails again here shortly. Because I know last year that was really nice. But I will say this. They have got some bigger free agents coming up here in Arizona. So the Arizona Cardinals currently have, where'd it go? There it is. So the Arizona Cardinals have roughly $38 million, $39 million in salary cap space. Okay? They have about $11 million in dead money. Now, the Kyler Murray saga is going to determine what that number really is. So, where Kyler Murray goes, what they do with Kyler Murray is going to change that number a lot. But they have some big free agents. Number 1, Jonah Williams, the big right tackle. That is a huge free agent. He'll probably get, I'd say $10 to $12 million a year is going to be my guess. Jalen Thompson, the safety. Now, he does have injury issues, but he has been there from the beginning of getting drafted. I believe he is a really solid safety, and many teams would be after Jalen Thompson. He is only 28 years old at the start of next year. He'll be 28 at the start of next year. Jonah Williams, also 28. So both of them can still get 3 or 4 year deals. Jalen Thompson is probably going to get around the $10 million a year range. He may take less to go to a contender. Calais Campbell is going to be 40 years old by the end of next season. And if he decides to continue playing, I'm sure a team will bring him in for the experience, for the veteran leadership, and they should. Calais Campbell has been an outstanding leader on multiple defenses. I love Calais Campbell. Kelvin Beachum is also a free agent. Their left tackle. He's old. He's probably not going to get a big deal. If anything, he'll be a backup. They got Will Hernandez, the guard, is a free agent. Their punter is a free agent. Okay? They've got a couple of big decisions to make free agency-wise with the new head coach. Now, let's take a look here at their draft picks. As of right now, they have round number 1. They have pick number 3, pick number 34, pick number 65, pick number 4, 141, 182, and 218. They have all 7 of their own picks. They own all their own picks. And that is basically what they have to work with right now. So let's talk about where Kyler Murray could go. To me, Kyler Murray only has 3 legitimate places to go. Only 3. The Raiders are going to take Mendoza. Raiders are out. If you think the Raiders are going to trade it away, it's going to take the baby being in the bathwater to be able to get, you're going to have to trade the future of the team. It's going to take a Ricky Williams type trade to get the Raiders to trade away that number 1 pick. Because they have Clint Kubiak there purposely for Fernando Mendoza. Now, assuming nobody offers them 6 picks, the Raiders are going to take Mendoza. So where does Kyler Murray go? To me, there's only 3 logical and realistic places where Kyler Murray could potentially end up. Number 1, potentially can't believe I'm saying this. Potentially the Minnesota Vikings. Their cap issue is one of those that you got to watch. The Minnesota Vikings making cap room. The GM getting fired really, really confused me. He did such a good job. It's not his fault. So you missed on J.J. McCarthy. So what? GMs have missed on quarterbacks for years. You missed on McCarthy. He's injured all the time. Move on. Draft another one. Let's go. Come on. But anyway, so the Minnesota Vikings are one of the legitimate options in my mind. Is it going to be hard? Yes. Cap-wise, it'll be hard. But I think they're legitimate. The second one is the Cleveland Browns. And now you may be wondering, how or why? Both decent questions. The how, they're going to have cap space. Njoku's not coming back. Wyatt Teller's not coming back. It's very plausible. Very plausible. Or they could just run it with Shedeur. But I think Kyler Murray is a legitimate option for the Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson going to Arizona may not be bad for him either. I don't know. If they make a straight-up swap, it'd be really interesting. But then you get to the final team that I think is the option, and this is where it gets really murky. I really do think that Jeff Hafley down in Miami wants Malik Willis. He knows Malik Willis. He watched Malik Willis. I believe Miami wants Malik Willis. But Kyler Murray is also a legitimate option for a team like them. Now, why? We're going to do the Dolphins next, so I'll tell you right now. They've got $3 million in cap space. They have $73 million in dead cap money, but they actually, once all the moves go through, they save themselves $27 million with all the cuts of Tyreek Hill, Bradley Chubb, James Daniels, and Akine Westbrook. They can flip their team pretty quickly. And if you're going to trade Tua and you're going to get Kyler, I mean, it's that simple. I really believe those are the only legitimate teams. I heard somebody throw out Atlanta. I don't see that being realistic. Number one reason is I don't feel like Atlanta's going to waste money on the offensive side right now. Their offensive side just needs somebody that can follow Kevin Stefanski's rules. The Falcons, if they feel like it, the Falcons could go after Mac Jones. Falcons could absolutely go after Mac Jones. I know the Vikings are going to go after Mac Jones. Somebody to just run Kevin Stefanski's offense. That's it. Kyler Murray is not that guy. He's not. So I don't feel like that's going to be an option. But there's just not a lot of good options out there to begin with. I heard somebody throw out the Jets because they got all the cap space. I don't know. Making a move for Kyler just seems like it doesn't seem like a Jet thing to do. Now, I could see the Jets making a play for Tua. Oh, I could easily see the Jets making a play for Tua. But I don't see the Jets making a play for Kyler. I think the Vikings and Kevin O'Connell, if they could bring him in, restructure his contract, and get him playing the brand of football they need, I believe that would be an option. I think the Browns are desperate enough, and I think the Dolphins just feel like they need somebody that can move a little bit more than Tua. It's a Tua upgrade when he's on the field. But you can say the same thing about Tua right now being on the field. So those are the three spots that I think are legitimate. The Jets, yes, they've got the cap room. But really, could you see the Jets trading for Kyler Murray? I mean, I could see him doing it, but it just doesn't seem like a Jet thing to do. That's my issue. It just doesn't seem like a Jet thing to do. All right. So, that is the Arizona Cardinals. New head coach Mike LaFleur, that is the Arizona Cardinals. Now, let's go to another team that has a brand new head coach, one that we all know very well, the New York Football Giants. New York Football Giants. So, this team this year, I was looking at their draft picks. And between the cap space, their draft, and everything else, they're not as good a position as I really would have wanted them to be. And here's why. So you start looking down the list of cap space, and you're going, nope, 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 no. Oh, there they are. For a team that has only $300,000 in dead cap money, they are only $5 million below the salary cap. Okay. So let's take a look at their free agents. Number 1, Russell Wilson. Number 2, the right tackle, Jermaine Eluemunor. Long-time tackle. He's going to be 30, let's see. Yeah, he'll be 31 years old at the start of the regular season. Then they have the guard, Evan Neal, who just hasn't panned out, which is fine, just hasn't panned out. Then they have Raheem Nunez-Roches. They got Greg Van Roten, who's going to be 36 years old next month. 36 years old next month. Wan'Dale Robinson's a free agent. What's funny is they had him for $2 million a year. His projected market value is going to be like $15 million a year. So I don't think they're keeping Wan'Dale Robinson. Aaron Stinney, the guard, is a free agent. Joshua Ezeudu is a free agent, the other guard. Schlotman, the center, is a free agent. They're going to have to rebuild the entire offensive line, and they only got $5 million right now to do it. I am so confused. Well, their defense is expensive. They do have players on their defense that do cost money. So I can see the Giants trying to flip where their money is being spent. Now, when you look at the draft picks, they have the number 5 pick, number 37 pick, number 105, 143, 185, 191, and 192. They do not have a 7th round. They do not have a 3rd round. But altogether, they have currently 7 picks in the rookie draft. John Harbaugh, how he's going to play this out, I am very anxious to see. Because I fully believe this team can turn around, but I do believe it's going to be somewhat of a struggle. Because there's already cap limitations on this. And I think it's going to be vitally important for them to navigate the cap really well. They've got a young nucleus with Dart and Scadaboo and Tracy and Neighbors. But you're losing Robinson. And he was a big player for them down the stretch. So we'll have to see what happens. But one of the biggest questions I think I have for the Giants is, where do you go with everything? Where do you go with everything? Because right now you are so heavy on defense. And I mean so heavy on defense. Where do you go? I was looking at their roster here. And especially on defense, they got some players. I mean, whoo, they got some players. I said this all last year. Dexter Lawrence, the defensive tackle. They got Brian Burns, Micah McFadden, Kayvon Thibodeau, Bobby Okereke. But then their secondary, they got Javon Holland, Paulson Adebo. They got Tyler Nubbin. They got the rookie, Abdul Carter, also sitting there. They got potential. The problem is it's all on that side of the ball because the offensive side of the ball, you're losing 3 potential starting offensive linemen. And it's not going to be good. So although I have a bunch of faith in John Harbaugh, I think they got to flip the salary cap, look for them to trade. I would not cut. I hate it when teams just cut players. Make sure you try to get something for them in the trade market first. Get something out of them. That's the play. Get something out of them. Now, what that looks like, I'm not sure. I would keep Brian Burns. I would trade away Thibodeau. I may even trade away Dexter Lawrence. It's backwards from what I would normally do, but I think I would do it. I would get the picks. I would get younger. And I would build my team the way I need to build the team. And I think that would help them really do what they need to do. They got to go offensive line in the draft. I'm sorry, guys. The Giants have to go offensive line with that first round pick. There's nothing else you can do. You have got holes all over that offensive line. So you got to draft an offensive lineman, and you got to hope he hits. That's really where you're at. It's really where you're at. So Arizona Cardinals, Mike LaFleur, biggest issue, what do you do with Kyler Murray? New York Giants, new head coach John Harbaugh, biggest issue. How do you flip the cap around to be able to actually have room to breathe and not destroy what you have on defense? Because the defense is tough. And I fully believe the defense will be tough. All right, let's go to the next team, the Tennessee Titans. New head coach Robert Saleh. This is a team I am absolutely petrified of, and there's a very good reason for this. The reason for that is they have $103 million in salary cap space. 103. Now, the Patriots just showed if you overpay for a little bit here, how about 1 year? If you overpay for just 1 year, maybe, just maybe, you can make a Super Bowl. The Patriots overpaid almost every player they signed in free agency. Almost every player. The Tennessee Titans have that ability. And what's even better is they still got Jeffrey Simmons and L'Jarius Sneed already on the defense. That cost a pretty penny. It's not like they're bankrupt of talent either. It costs a pretty penny for those two guys. And I can't wait to see what happens. I really can't. So here's the free agent list. I don't think most of these people are coming back. I don't. Kevin Zeitler, the guard, is not going to be brought back. Arden Key, the edge rusher, he's not going to be brought back. Sebastian Joseph, I doubt it. Van Jefferson, heck no. Now, Brandon Allen, the quarterback, maybe you bring him back because I like him as a backup to Cam Ward. But Johnny Hekker, you're going to be bringing back the punt, I hope. Or do you draft a punter? Do you get younger? Johnny Hekker is 36 years old. Do you need a guy that's got a little bit more of a boot to be able to flip the field better? Who knows? We'll find out. Morgan Cox will be 40 years old here in a couple months. He's the long snapper. Now, you know my feelings on long snappers. Keep them around until they're 75. I don't care. All they got to do is snap a football. So, I would keep Morgan Cox, obviously. Jihad Ward, defensive tackle. I doubt he's coming back. Blake Hance, 30-year-old guard. Doubt he's coming back. Joey Sly, the kicker. You didn't do good enough, so nope, you're probably out too. So this team, most of these players on this free agent list, I don't see them re-signing 90% of them. So they've got all this cap room. All of it. Now, let's look at their picks. They have pick number 4, pick number 35, 66, 101, 140, 142, 183, and pick number 239 for a grand total of 8 picks in this year's draft currently. 8 picks in this year's draft. Okay. So $103 million in cap space. 8 draft picks. And a bunch of free agents that are older anyway, and you're not bringing them back to begin with. I foresee the Tennessee Titans making a huge move. Huge move. I think they could be the team early on that trades back, accumulates draft picks to be able to build what this team is. They get their offensive lineman that they need to replace Zeitler, or they sign him in free agency. This is the thing. Free agency for the Titans, the reality is they can go get whoever they want at $104 million a year. They can overpay for whoever they want to. They need a guard. They've already got Latham. I would move Skoronski over next to Latham. They haven't done that. They keep Skoronski over on the other side with Moore, which is fine. Cushberry is in the middle. He's fine. J.C. Latham is fine at tackle. You need your right guard. Got to have your right guard. So either you're going to pay for him in free agency or you're going to draft him in the draft. I don't care which way they go. Terrifies the life out of me because this is a defensive player draft with a defensive head coach like Robert Saleh. They now have an offensive-minded gameplay caller that is actually good at what he does in Brian Daboll. And the reality is, this team is set to be able to make a huge leap next year. They got to get the receiver situation figured out. A receiver that I think you need to watch for Tennessee is not A.J. Brown. Not A.J. Brown at all. If they can sign their guard in free agency, I'm going to say this right here, right now. They can sign their guard in free agency. Watch out for Puka Nacua to the Tennessee Titans. And Mike Evans to the Tennessee Titans. Because the Titans have the cap space to immediately turn around and give a huge deal to. They also have the draft capital where they could trade that number 5 or number 4 pick and get Puka Nacua. The Rams are not happy with Nacua off the field. The Rams don't play like that. I'm not so sure the Rams have decided exactly what they want to do. I know they've had conversations and I know they've been talking about things, but I don't think they fully know what they want to do yet necessarily. I know the conversations are being had, and I'm sure in the next few days, the plan is going to be laid out and that this is the roadmap for the 2026 offseason. They will have that. It will happen. What that looks like, I think, is going to be vastly different than a lot of your big talking heads think about because the Rams are now looking at future. The Seahawks are younger. It's that simple. They're younger. The Bears are younger. The Lions actually are still younger. The Rams are old. They got to get younger. taking a year, getting rid of some of the old pieces and getting in some fresh young ones, being able to play that salary cap again would work. But you have to have people that don't have an attitude to do it. So you send Puka Nacua out, you get a draft pick, you haven't missed on draft picks ever, seemingly, there in Los Angeles. Tutu Atwell hasn't been great. I'll give you that one. But they hit on draft picks. They could have potentially 3. They could have 3 first-round draft picks if they trade Nacua. You could replace Nacua pretty easily with somebody that's probably just as talented. May not be the mega star that Nacua seems to be, but just as talented for a lot cheaper again. Don't have to pay him. You'd have control of him for 5 years. Be able to use the cap. The Rams have $44 million in cap space. They can make some moves. But the Tennessee Titans, I believe, big in on the Mike Evans. You know, the Patriots went, they got, Stephon Diggs. Then the Patriots go out, they draft Travion Henderson. They got their big offensive tackle in the draft. And I love how Vrabel's like, no, he's a rookie. Will Campbell is going to be just fine. Just fine. Not worried about Will Campbell. Are you kidding me? Not a chance. No way in the world am I worried about Will Campbell. But all right, guys, there you go. So there are 3 teams for today. The Arizona Cardinals, the New York Football Giants, and the Tennessee Titans. Those are the 3 teams today, the 3 snapshots heading into the 2026 offseason. All right, what do we got going on tonight in the NBA world? We got the Spurs and the Pistons. Now, that game I want to watch. That should be a really good game. Spurs and Pistons, 7 p.m. on Peacock, and then you got 2 jokes of a game. You got the Kings and the Grizzlies, and then the Jazz and Houston. Also, the Jazz are going to score points, but they don't stop anybody. So that could be a really high-scoring game. Really, really high-scoring game. But nonetheless, guys, man, it felt good to be back. Boy, it felt good to be back. Appreciate each and every one of you guys hanging out. Sorry for the off time. Just kind of needed it. Weather, work, job, just had to kind of recharge for a little bit to be able to get ready to go because free agency's getting ready to ramp up. And we got the end of the NBA season right around the corner. As always, guys, deeply appreciate it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Make sure to like, subscribe, share the podcast with a friend. As always, thank you ever so much. Until tomorrow, for Sports Talk with Hawk, I am Hawk, and I'm out. Have a great afternoon.